Well, it's that time of year again when we have to deal with dry skin and hair. What do you do about it? Well, you can move to Del Boca Vista Phase 3 or somewhere else in Florida. Or you can just treat it with natural products made from bees right here in Northeast Ohio. Check it out tonight on Neotropolis. This is not business as usual. Welcome to Neotropolis. We are not business as usual. Hi, I'm your host, Jim Evans. Well, after careful thought and consideration, we have decided to go tonight with Plan B, but not in a secondary sense. We'll show you a company in Northeast Ohio whose primary plan is all about the bee. And what they produce can help you and your family look and feel good in more ways than one. We'll get you to that shortly. But first, we take a look at regional business news from the Neotropolis Good Business News Aggregator.
This is the Good Business News along the I-77 corridor for the week of January 3rd. Tuesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer Business section reports that according to the Institute for Supply Management, new orders to factories have increased for the 17th straight month and that manufacturers continue to recover from the economic recession. Wednesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer Business section reports that 23-year-old Glen Willow-based Dots LLC, the affordable women's fashion and accessory retailer, has been acquired by New York private equity firm Irving Place Capital. The private transaction closed on Monday. Terms of the deal were not disclosed. Dots LLC has 43 stores in Ohio and employs 350 Ohioans. Wednesday's Akron Beacon Journal business section reports that Canton-based specialty steel and bearings maker, the Timken Company, purchased City Scrap and Salvage in Akron for an undisclosed price. City Scrap is one of the area's largest scrap yards and will provide the Timken Company with a steady supply of scrap metal to be used in its furnaces to make highly pure specialty steel in the company's Canton area plants. Thursday's Cleveland Plain Dealer Business section reports that Cleveland-based 62-year-old Miceli Dairy Products, one of the nation's largest producers of ricotta cheese, plans to break ground this summer on a $16 to $20 million expansion project. The first phase of the project, expected to be completed by mid-2012, will double production of ricotta cheese. Thursday's Kent Record Courier front page reports that according to online fashion magazine Fashionista.com, Kent State University's fashion school is ranked 3rd in the country and 13th in the world. The ranking takes into consideration tuition cost, demographics, famous alumni, and a variety in programming. This is the Good Business News along the I-77 corridor for this week. Neotropolis is your source for good business news.
Lip balm, soap, shampoo, lotion, and bees? What's the connection? You'll see in a few moments. Right now, though, we connect with our content partner, the Business Journal. Appropriately, it's time for the Weekly Buzz.
I'm Stacia Erdis with the Business Journal Weekly Buzz for Youngstown and the Mahoning Valley. A big end of the year for the Lordstown-built Chevrolet Cruze. Sales of the Chevrolet Cruze in December were up nearly 35% from the month before, with 10,865 vehicles sold. Youngstown State University will receive $200,000 in American Recovery and Reinvestment Act funds. The money distributed from the state will be used for asbestos remediation in the Garfield building on West Rayen Avenue. The property, built in 1921, is being renovated into a research facility for the measurement of advanced materials properties in sustainable energy. It would serve as a landmark structure for the Ohio hub. V&M Star is helping to curb brain drain from the Mahoning Valley, hiring YSU grads for its new $650 million pipe mill now under construction. V&M is hiring 350 hourly and salaried positions for the new mill, including grads from YSU STEM College like Clarence Howell, a performance analyst at V&M.
People here are great, and I think that's what really makes this a very interesting and dynamic job, just because the people that I work with on a daily basis, basically taking me under their wing.
Hiring is going well. We're looking for the best qualified people for the positions. So some positions have very specific requirements, which are taking a little bit longer to recruit for.
A rapidly growing urgent care company is locating into the Mahoning Valley. Hometown Urgent Care is moving into Boardman on Route 224. The office is the company's 17th operation in Ohio. It hopes to capture business related to companies that require drug screenings, physicals, and workers' comp exams. More facilities could open in the area in the next 9 months. In the January edition of the Business Journal, we profile the 5 most intriguing people in the Valley of 2010. They include Michael Garvey, President and CEO of M7 Technologies; Bill Johnson, the new Republican congressman from the 6th District; Betty Jo Licata, the Dean of YSU's new College of Business Administration; Michael Obang, the Chief of Plastic Surgery at St. Elizabeth's Boardman Health Center and founder of Restore Worldwide; and Eric Ryan, the Executive Director of the Covelli Center. Read what makes them so intriguing in the latest edition of the Business Journal. And those are this week's headlines. Be sure to check out the Buzz Newscast every business day online at businessjournaldaily.com. I'm Stacia Ertis. We'll see you next week.
And now it's time for a Neotropolis fact.
Did you know that according to Census Bureau estimates, the median household income in the 8-county Cleveland area in 2009 was $45,787?
So a friend comes to you and says, hey, I have a beehive, but I don't have anywhere to put it. Can I keep it at your place? You agree, and before you know it, you've started your own company with it. An unlikely scenario, but that's exactly what happened for one man and his family in Bedford Heights. Beecology offers unique and natural products for skin, hair, and more made from bees. And as Jennifer Boris shows us, this is not bee business as usual.
Sometimes inspiration for a new business strikes when you least expect it. That was the case for Beecology when their inspiration came in the form of this little guy who is now the company logo. And it is definitely not business as usual. 7 years ago, one of David Rezepka's co-workers asked if he could put some bees out at the family farm in Geauga County.
I said, okay, put them out there, but I don't want anything to do with these things. They sting. I don't want to be near them. I don't want to, you take care of them. So puts them out there, and he says, I can't come out anymore. I said, what do you mean you can't come out anymore? He said, I can't come out here because my wife is pregnant, and I'm not going to be able to tend to the bees. She's not letting me out of the house.
Concerned for the livelihood of the bees, David asked him to show him how to take care of them.
So comes out there, shows me what to do, and I finally, looked at these things in a totally different way that I've ever seen. They became a real passion of mine, and I enjoyed them.
The bees sparked the idea for David's company, Beecology.
I started to make lip balms. I took the beeswax. I go, all this beeswax, what the heck am I going to do with it? I could either make candles. So I started to make lip balms. I started in my basement. I started mixing together oils and waxes and essential oils, and I started giving them out to family and friends, and all of a sudden, people started to like them, and they wanted more and more and more and more.
So after the company began nearly 3 years ago, he started selling them in a few local stores, and it's grown from there. But David never had any experience in this industry.
I was in real estate development with our family business, and I went to law school, and I'm a lawyer beekeeper.
Interesting combination, you may say, but David insists there are many similarities in business, bees, and the environment.
So I think you can combine a lot of those different things. It's not just beekeeping, it's a whole world. The bees really mimic our world, and we almost mimic them as much as they mimic us.
Starting a new business has been a challenge for the Rezepka family.
You go into a business and you have no clue what's going to happen, and it just sort of grows and mushrooms, and you got to weave and jog and go into different. I wear every single hat. I mean, I've done sales, I've done the manufacturing. You learn by the seat of your pants. It's a real learning curve, and you just learn how to do things. You read a lot, you mix a lot, you make a lot of mistakes, and you learn.
And he has had to learn quite a bit about the process of making these products, from assembling a soap mold, to mixing, pouring, cutting.
Cut it like a piece of cheese.
And stamping. David also has some help. For example, his wife Amy does a lot of the marketing and computer work.
She's been great at that. She helps me out in every way. And then we hired a marketing director and a branding person. Her name is Cheryl Shavers. She is fantastic. And I also have another person who helps me manufacturing the soaps.
And they're planning to bring in a few new employees this year, starting with someone to coordinate production. Besides making lip balms, Beecology offers a number of other products.
We make soaps, about 7-8 different kinds of soaps. We make shampoos and conditioners. We make creams. We make gift baskets and everything involving, and of course a little bit of honey. Most of it goes into the products now, but we do pour off some for gift baskets and friends and family and to give away.
He says he uses as much as he can from the bees at his farm, but also buys from many other local suppliers.
There are some preservatives that I have to use in the products because it would spoil too quickly to be on the shelves, but we try and use the least toxic preservative that I can find, and as we find better and better products and more natural products, we'll go with those kind of things.
David says the natural product market is getting bigger and bigger as more people become concerned with the ingredients in the products they're using. And he says Beecology is in the midst of a $180 billion industry in the United States alone, so there's plenty of room for growth.
Come about January, I'll start making a lot of different products. I'll start mixing in my basement. I have a lab in my basement. I bring all the stuff home and I just mix and mix and mix. And I make different stuff, and I'll give it to the kids and say, what do you think? And I'll give it to Amy, and I'll give it to my mom, and I'll give it to friends. And then we test on family and friends, not on animals.
In fact, he says kids are some of the best people to test on.
Your kids and their friends, they are brutal. Kids will tell you what they think. It's like, Mr. Zepka, I don't like this stuff. It's horrible. They don't mince any words, you know. They're not even like a focus group. They are brutally honest. And my dad is brutally honest with me, so he's one of my best testers.
The Rzepka family is not only focused on family, but also on giving back to the community through sweetyear.org, allowing customers to give 10% of the Beecology products they purchase to the charity of their choice.
I guess you would say that we are looking to create a business that is good for not only us, but society and giving back. So we're really a business that is going to try and give back to the community as much as we can.
Right now, you can find Beecology products like this on their website, beecology.com, and soon you can find them in local Whole Food stores. Then the next step is going national. In Bedford Heights, I'm Jennifer Boris for Western Reserve PBS.
Are you not doing business as usual? Then email us at neotropolis.org. Tell us how you're changing your business, organization, or government agency to compete in the new economy. And who knows, you could be starring on Neotropolis, Not Business as Usual. So we took a look at a unique use of bees from a microeconomic point of view. Now we talk with experts in the field for a macroeconomic perspective, or what we like to call fly-eye economics.
With over 4,000 lenses, the eyes of a common housefly are among the most complex in the insect world.
With us tonight, our panelist, Dr. Mark Heddings, Associate Professor with the Ohio State University ATI, Denzel St. Clair, owner of Queen Wright Colonies, and Anne-Marie Cerna, owner of Cerna's Farm and Market in Auburn. Folks, thanks so much for being with us this evening. As a lot of people know, and it's well documented in the news and otherwise, bee population on the decline, and a lot of different theories about why that might be. Can you folks get into that and tell us what your theories might be, what you know or otherwise, and what might be some solutions? Dr. Mark?
Well, in recent years, there have been a number of challenges that the beekeeping industry has faced, and those include, of course, a couple species of mites, and then more recently the colony collapse disorder, which is still not definitively determined what the cause is, although there are some possibilities, and that of course includes things like there could be a combination of things, but one option might be that one of the mites, called the varroa mite, is actually carrying a virus that compromised the immune system of the bee. But the jury is still out really as to what the exact cause might be.
Well, beekeepers have been plagued with a lot of different diseases over the years. With the CCD and parasitic mite syndrome, American foulbrood, European foulbrood, chalkbrood, sackbrood, all of the parasites and the things. It's becoming more and more difficult to keep bees and more expensive. And the commercial operations and the sideliner operations are finding it increasingly difficult and expensive to keep bees. It's just difficult to be a beekeeper today.
Ann?
Well, I own a farm in Auburn in Geauga County, and we rent bees and for pollination purposes. I am not real fluent with the bees and their colonies and that, but one of the questions I would have is, why aren't there more bees? Do the pesticides and the spraying and the grasses, I mean, all lawns are crisp and clean, where when I was a kid and used to run around in the backyard, I mean, you were barefoot and it was like, go watch out for the bees, and you don't see that anymore. So in order for us to benefit, we need to have these bees.
Well, that's a common comment in beekeeping today, is we hear about what used to be back when. Those days are gone, and we're telling people today, our grandchildren in all probability, not see any honeybees. If they see bees even today, it's only because there's a beekeeper in relatively short distance from their property. And again, it's because of pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, and all of the different sides that make it into the market that makes it increasingly difficult to be a beekeeper today. It's very difficult, very expensive to replace a package of bees. If you're looking at replacing 1,000 colonies of bees at $50 per colony, it becomes, at some point, it's not feasible to do so. And then if you have to replace your equipment to go with that, it just makes it ever more increasingly inexpensive to keep bees.
Just another moment on that theme, and another theory I had read was the possibility involved with this issue was electromagnetic waves from phone towers and TV and radio towers that might interfere with bees' built-in radar, so to speak, or might be the case. Is that a possibility?
It's not one that they've actually considered. You get all kinds of things like that that are mentioned by the public and the media. It's not really feasible.
Okay. Is this more specific to one region or area, this issue with the population decline, or is this an international problem?
It's an international problem.
Yeah, it's of course we see it here, and so it's brings it home, but it's also being observed in some other places in the world, and so it's very possible it could be a combination of things. Of course, the pesticides that were mentioned is like another one. But the interesting thing is, in spite of these challenges, there's still a lot of people interested in beekeeping. And we witnessed that just last March when we had the Tri-County Beekeepers Association workshop. We had 986 people show up for a one-day workshop. And so there's still a lot of interest in beekeeping, and probably the press that's come out about the fate of the bee has probably brought to attention of a lot of people, to want to get involved.
There's a lot of interest in beekeeping today, and that's very true. Every year, organizations around the state of Ohio teach literally hundreds of new beekeepers how to keep bees, and they take them through an extensive course. In Tri-County is an example of that. In this area here, we have the Greater Cleveland Beekeepers Association, Portage, and Summit. Different organizations around the state teach beekeeping courses. But the problem with that is that where we are deficient is in sideliner beekeepers, which have 500 or 1,000 colonies or more, or commercial beekeepers, which have several thousand colonies. These are the people that do the commercial pollination around the state and around the nation, for that matter. And these are the people that are not replaceable. Right now, we only have about 2% of the entire beekeeping population that is a commercial beekeeper. These are the people that travel around the country with their colonies of bees pollinating the crops that we absolutely need and are essential. And those people are not replaceable. And unfortunately, they are falling more and more by the wayside.
How do we get more people involved? I know you said that you had a good turnout, but to keep that wheel turning.
I think, just from a farming perspective, local food is getting really popular, and that's probably why you see the increase in beekeepers, not per se in a commercial base, but the beneficials of honey And the wax and all that is just phenomenal. I mean, it's like one of the best insects we could have.
How might Dave and somebody like Dave branch out, perhaps, and maybe get some spin-off things going, and possibly, in the same turn, create jobs? Is that a viable possibility?
Oh, yeah.
From what he's doing?
Oh, yeah. I know him personally, and most of his honey and all his product goes into his product. So he doesn't have honey. He can reach out to other local farmers, because we're always looking for, beekeepers or to have bees on our farms for the pollination, for the fruit set. I have, several hives at my farm, and I think with more urban growers and all that, I think it can escalate for the small farmer or beekeeper.
That she's talking about is pivotal. It is absolutely essential that we have honeybees and honeybees for pollination, and we need pollinators. And we don't have that. Just in Ohio alone last year, Ohio produced $22.5 million in pumpkin, the largest pumpkin crop in the entire United States. There was an article just recently in the Firelings Farmer working with the Ohio State University in getting farmers to work more in this area of pumpkin production. They're looking for a crop that has more meaty crop to the fruit and seed production. If you have $22.5 million in pumpkins in Ohio, you need the beekeepers in Ohio to pollinate that crop. The ODA, the Ohio Department of Agriculture, estimated the value of honeybees in the state of Ohio at $225 million. That's just pollination last year. We need beekeepers that are willing to take the next step and go from beekeeping, producing that pound of honey, to 5 or 10, 20 pounds of honey, to branch out into these other areas like pollination and hand creams, lotions. Burt's Bees got its start somewhere, and it was just with a couple of colonies of bees. And Burt's Bees is a major million-dollar industry today that is producing these products like him, and you don't know where that the next beekeeper is at that's willing to make that venture.
We only have a moment left, unfortunately, but Dr. Mark, are there educational opportunities to examine further from an education standpoint what someone like Dave is doing?
Probably not that I can think of offhand, but I think the more a person can participate in educational courses and workshops and so on, it's a good way to pique an interest in someone, and there really are a lot of opportunities in the beekeeping world. In fact, kind of like sub-disciplines. You can be in the honey production end and beeswax production, you can be in pollen production and queen ring production, or the value-added kind of products that Dave is involved with. Sure. And so there's quite a variety of aspects to the whole industry. But if a person can get started, even if you want to start with a hive or two, the nice thing about beekeeping, you can start small, and then you can continue to grow it to branch out to where you want to go with it.
Folks, thanks so much for being with us. We're out of time, unfortunately, but a really important thing that you folks are involved with. Thanks so much. Again, our partnership with bees is very important for the future. And with that, it's time now for Into the Future, tonight with Jennifer Parker of Parker PR.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Parker. I'm the president of Parker Public Relations. We're a national and international PR services agency focused in the sustainable building and advanced energy industries. We've been around since 2007, where we were originally established in Western New York and brought the company here to the Northeast Ohio region very recently, and we're pleasantly surprised to find so many like-minded companies in the area. We found a lot of support with what we're trying to do in telling the Building a Better Tomorrow stories for technology developers and product manufacturers in the sustainable building and advanced energy fields. We are currently located at the Akron Global Business Development Incubator, which is a fantastic opportunity for us because there are a number of companies there that are creating advanced energy technologies as well as other technologies that we are hoping to help spread the word about here in Northeast Ohio as well as across the country and around the world. Our clients do span the entire United States, Canada, and some nationally, including in the technology hotbeds of Germany, where a lot of advanced energy technologies are coming from. So it's really exciting to help the Northeast Ohio region, and specifically Akron, bring some of those companies here to work in the United States. If you'd like more information on the kinds of PR services that we offer, please visit our website at www.parker-pr.com. Visit us on Facebook or Twitter, or you can email me directly, Jennifer Parker at jparker@parker-pr.com. Thanks so much.
Well, you know, we also like to scan the financial landscape, and the expert to help us do that is Kevin Myeroff, now with the Stock Wrap.
This week's local company stock spotlight is E.W. Scripps Company. The E.W. Scripps Company is a diverse media business with interests in newspaper publishing, broadcast television stations, and licensing and syndication. Although Scripps is not headquartered in Northeast Ohio, this global media company got its start right here in Cleveland and continues to be a large presence in Ohio. In 1878, Edward W. Scripps, a young entrepreneur, found the newspaper in Cleveland aimed at emerging mass audiences of urban workers. The penny press, named for its affordable price, was clear, concise, and politically independent. From Cleveland, Scripps took the formula to dozens of other cities, building one of the first newspaper chains under common ownership. Over 100 years later, Scripps' presence in Ohio is in the television segment, as it runs WWS Channel 5 in Cleveland and WCPO Channel 9 in Cincinnati. Also, through its corporate foundation, the Scripps Howard Foundation, Scripps reaches out to Ohio in its mission to support and promote excellence in journalism. A great example is in 2006, the foundation announced a gift to name the Scripps College of Communication at Ohio University in Athens to further its commitment to the E.W. Scripps School of Journalism. In October 2010, the Scripps College of Communication was named the Center of Excellence for the state of Ohio and is the only college of communication to receive such a distinction. The E.W. Scripps Company is traded on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol SSP. The midweek close was $10.46. Year to date, the stock is a positive 3.05%. Over the last 5 years, the stock is a negative 7.59%. Back to you, Jim.
There's always a good buzz when it comes to culture and entertainment in Northeast Ohio. And the guy who's always busy on that is Cool Cleveland's Thomas Mulready. He joins us to tell you about some other events that are going on in Neotropolis this weekend. What we're talking about is the business of fun.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com, and this week we're talking about getting out in the middle of winter. It can be pretty brutal in Northeast Ohio, but there's plenty of places throughout the region, and of course when the weather gets tough, the tough get going, and we go indoors, for our culture and our music. This week we want to talk about some museums in Northeast Ohio that have some really cool stuff going on for the winter. Of course, we're here at the Crawford Auto Museum, which is part of the Western Reserve Historical Society, where they've got over 140 really cool vehicles. The entire family would love what's going on here. They got the Kids-A-Bits area for the kids to play in. And also they have exhibitions, Do You Remember Lincoln, about one of our finest presidents, and also Soul Soldiers, African-American soldiers in the Vietnam War, and those will be up throughout the winter. Also, the Butler Institute of American Art over in Youngstown has a great exhibition on Herb Asherman. He's one of our finest photographers from the Cleveland area, but really one of the best in the nation. And he has done photographs of Native Americans on sort of an old-fashioned platinum print process, and he uses an 8x10 cherrywood camera. That exhibition is going to be up through March 6th at the Butler Institute of American Art in Youngstown. Lorain County Historical Society, of course, has the Hickories Museum. It's a fabulous mansion. It's got 6 fireplaces, Tiffany windows, a private chapel. You can check that out at any time. And the Akron Art Museum, fabulous collection called Culture Revolution, contemporary paintings from the Allen Art Museum over at Oberlin. These are now at the Akron Art Museum through February 27th. So this winter, don't despair, get out, get your culture, and visit some museums. This is Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Neotropolis.
Now remember, there are things that you can do to help the Northeast Ohio economy. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is get out to any of the events Thomas told us about and make your investment in fun. You can also position yourself out there and make some brilliant comments about the Northeast Ohio economy to the people before, beside, behind you. Tell them to spread the word. In the meantime, log on to our website, neotropolis.org, and tell us what you think. I'm Jim Evans. We'll see you next week on Neotropolis, not business as usual.
Funding for Neotropolis has been provided by the Burton D. Morgan Foundation, committed to the free enterprise system. The Dominion Foundation. Jumpstart, working with entrepreneurs to accelerate the growth of their high-potential businesses to create a more prosperous economic future for Northeast Ohio. The Raymond John Ween Foundation. Youngstown Business Incubator.
Next week on Neotropolis, more buzz, stock wrap, and into the future. Find out who is not doing business as usual. Now stay tuned for Newsnight.